Hey, amigo, cuties, and budders. I'm here to share Harry Potter's The Philosopher's Stone, Episode 1 The Boy Who Lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of Number 4 Private Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank God. They were the last people you would expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious because they just didn't hold with all such nonsense. Let's look at their appearance. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Actually, you could imagine a walking, talking pig. Okay. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck. A long neck. How come? Can you remember Charles Darwin's theory? How did all the giraffe had long neck? Because it always stretches its neck to eat the leaves from all the tall branches. The same way our Mrs. Dursley looks out of the window and always nosing around the neighbors what's happening there. Let's look at the book. Long neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, little pig, okay? And in their opinion, there was no finer boy anyway. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret. Of course, there has to be no. And their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think that they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. And in fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister because her sister and her good for nothing husband, can you believe it? Mr. and Mrs. Potter, good for nothing, chanceless. Anyway, were as undursley-ish as it was possible to be. Of course, they shouldn't be like Dursleys. The Dursleys shivered to think what the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, our hero, okay, but they had never ever seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. Of course, our hero couldn't mix with a pig, okay. I hope you just agree with me. When Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on a dull, grey Tuesday, our story starts. There was nothing about the cloudy sky outside to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked out his most boring tie for work, and Mrs. Dursley gossiped away happily as she wrestled a screaming Dudley into his chair. Of course, he is always like that. None of them noticed a large, tawny owl flutter past the window. Owl? What? Owls, did it change the sleeping patterns? Let's see. At 8:30, Mr. Dursley picked up his briefcase, pecked Mrs. Dursley on the cheek. You know, pecked, a kind of cock, how it pecks all its grain, okay, into its mouth. So, like that, Mr. Dursley pecked Mrs. Dursley on the cheek and tried to kiss Dudley goodbye, but missed. Why? Because Dudley was now having a tantrum, throwing his cereals at the walls. Little tyke, chattered Mr. Dursley as he left the house. He got into his car and backed out of number 4's drive. It was on the corner of the street that he noticed the first sign of something peculiar, a strange thing. What was that? A cat reading a map. For a second, Mr. Dursley didn't realize what he had seen. Then he jerked his head around to look again. There was a tabby cat standing on the corner of the private drive, but there wasn't any map in sight. What could he have been thinking of? It must have been a trick of the light. Mr. Dursley blinked and stared at the cat. It stared back. What kind of stare it is? It is a stern stare. As Mr. Dursley drove around the corner and up the road, he watched the cat in his mirror. It was now reading the sign that said private drive. No, looking at the sign, cats couldn't read sign or maps. Mr. Dursley gave himself a little shake and put the cat out of his mind. As he drove towards town, he thought of nothing except a large order of drills he was hoping to get that day. But on the edge of the town, drills were driven out of his mind by something else. As he sat in the usual morning traffic jam, he couldn't help noticing that there seemed to be a lot of strangely dressed people about. People in cloaks. Mr. Dursley couldn't bear people who dressed in funny clothes, the get-ups you saw on young people. He supposed this was some stupid new fashion. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel and his eyes fell on a huddle of these weirdos, strangers, standing quite close by. They were whispering excitedly together. Mr. Dursley was enraged, completely angered, to see that a couple of them weren't young at all. Why, that man had to be older than he was and wearing an emerald green cloak. See, what a bright color to choose. The nerve of him. But then it struck Mr. Dursley that this was probably some silly stunt. These people were obviously collecting for something. Yes, that would be it. The traffic moved on, and a few minutes later, Mr. Dursley arrived in the Grunnings Park lot, his mind back on the drills. Okay, Mr. Dursley was completely indifferent to all the attitude of those strangers. Okay, so had he listened more closely, then he would not be sitting peacefully in his office at all. Anyway, so let's get into his office. Mr. Dursley always sat with his back to the window in his office on the ninth floor. If he hadn't, he might have found it harder to concentrate on the drills that morning. He didn't see the owls sweeping past in broad daylight. Okay, so even not just one owl, almost all the owls changed its sleeping pattern, it seems. Anyway, let's see. Though people down in the street did, they pointed and gazed open-mouthed as owl after owl sped overhead. Most of them had never seen an owl even at the night time. Mr. Dursley, however, had a perfectly normal owl-free morning. He yelled at 5 different people, he made several important telephone calls and shouted a bit more. He was in a very good mood until lunchtime when he thought he would stretch his legs and walk across the road to buy himself a bun from the bakery. He had forgotten all about the people in cloaks until he passed a group of them next to the baker's. He eyed them angrily as he passed. He didn't know why, but they made him uneasy. Maybe you remember the secret, and that's why these people made him uneasy. Anyways, he didn't know why, but they made him uneasy. This bunch were whispering excitedly too, and he couldn't see a single collecting tin. It was on his way back past them, clutching a large donut in a bag, that he caught a few words of what they were saying. The Potters, that's right, that's what I heard. Yes, their son, Harry. Mr. Dursley stopped dead. Fear flooded him. He looked back at the whisperers as if he wanted to say something to them but thought better of it. He dashed back across the road, hurried up to his office, snapped at his secretary not to disturb him, and seized his telephone and had almost finished dialing his home number when he changed his mind. He put the receiver back down and stroked his mustache, thinking he was being stupid. Potter wasn't such an unusual name. He was sure that there were lots of people called Potter who had a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he wasn't even sure his nephew was called Harry. He had never seen the boy. It might have been Harvey or Harold. There was no point in worrying Mrs. Dursley. She always got so upset at any mention of her sister. He didn't blame her if he'd had a sister like that, but all the same, those people in cloaks, that completely worried him. He found it a lot harder to concentrate on drills that afternoon, and when he left the building at 5 o'clock, he was still so worried that he walked straight into someone just outside the door. He just tumbled on a tiny old man dressed in colorful clock. Let's see what happened in our next episode. Thank you. See you later.